let's deal with one of the main issues here. Let's talk about your backup quarterback who did such a super job last year filling in for Ricky Ray, Zach Collaros. And free agency is coming up on the period on February the 15th, and Zach Collaros, decided, just tell us how it came about from an Argo point of view. Why did you release Zach Collaros when you did? Never mind the fact he got picked up by Hamilton. I'll speak to Hamilton people about that. I'm sure you're not surprised. But what was the deal? How did it work behind the scenes that you decided to let him go out there to test free agency?
Well, we had spoken with Zach in depth, and obviously Scott and I had sat down with him and found out about what he wanted to do, what his thoughts were, and one of the possibilities was that he was going to come back to Toronto because we do have it's a great organization, and he went through at Cincinnati changes of coaches, and he understands how important system is, and being in a system, you have a chance to win, and to go somewhere where maybe you're going to get pounded for a few years, you can be out, your career can be over in a hurry.
Right.
And so there was a lot of question marks, and through the negotiation process, we offered him as good a contract as we could have offered him. He would have been, the highest paid backup quarterback in the league. I mean, it was a lucrative. We couldn't offer him any more. I talked to teams around the league about, the possibility of trades and things like that, and there was nothing that everybody, they all knew he was going to be a free agent. So we got to the point where when the final offer was made, and obviously they were definitely going to free agency because you can throw your stuff out there, but when a player doesn't know what he has out there, or he knows and he's not telling you, I don't know how that works, but there was no way I was going to wait till February 15th. Keep this money aside should Zach want to come back and lose out on other free agents. So I was going to force the issue and say, you know what, let's go see what you can get. And if you can get what you want, then God bless you and good luck to you in your career. There was waiting till February 15th. The same thing would have happened. He would have ended up in Hamilton, in my opinion. And now we know going into February 15th when free agency happens that we have a little more money at our disposal. So
that makes sense, Jim.
To me, it was a no-brainer. It was one of those things that I felt like for our organization and for us to do the best we could to get out of it with something was to at least know where we are. So that's why we released him when we released him, and I guess it caused a bit of a frenzy across the league. But at least things are from our standpoint, we have a much clearer picture of where everything's at, rather than us waiting for them to make decisions and then being stuck, finding out on February 15th this was going to happen. So obviously Hamilton had to make a decision, and I had no idea what their decision was going to be.
Sure.
They had to make a decision on whether they were going to continue on with Henry or go with Zach. I knew they couldn't keep both, and obviously only Kent Austin knew that. So it was like, okay, well, let's see what you got. What are you going to do? And it played out as it played out.
Part of the reason Kent Austin was successful in his college career is they have to do a lot of recruiting there. He obviously liked Zach Collaros. He obviously sold him on the fact that he was going to come to a Hamilton team that was going into a new stadium, was on the rise. And I also spoke to a guy called Chris Giddings, who I know you know is the agent for Henry Burris, and Henry wasn't shocked that it happened. This is not his first rodeo. He certainly was sad that it's happened, and apparently, for those of you who don't know, Henry Burris has now been offered a pretty lucrative contract by the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm sure you're going to hear about that signing.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Sorry, did I say the Jets? My apologies, buddy. I didn't even know I said that. Thank you. See what happens when I'm here by myself?
Yeah, really.
Anyways, yeah, he's been offered a package by the Bombers, and it'll be another chapter in his career as he goes there. But I think Zach Collaros will win over a lot of Hamilton fans. But I'll have to speak to the Ticats to see what their reasoning was to let a guy like Henry Burris, who obviously has got a pedigree in the league, is a little bit older, and why they let him go as opposed to Zach. But that's something that Ken Austin will answer, not you.
That's correct. Like I say, I had no idea what he would do, and Henry was a big part of that organization this year, and obviously we struggled with them.
Yes, I know, but that wasn't the question I wanted to ask you, Jim. Here's the question I do want to ask you. You've been involved in this league for so many years now, and we see guys like Henry Burris getting sort of, they always find a gig as long as they're able to play, and there's other quarterbacks who've been in the league and out of it for a year, and we're so desperate for quarterbacks at times, they get brought back out of retirement. What is it about the CFL with only 9 teams in it and so many quarterbacks out there from the States that obviously don't play the Canadian game that we keep on getting the same guys retread here? Why is it so difficult to find fresh, new talent from either Canada or the States to replace some of the same guys that keep on getting retread?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. To me, a quarterback has to find a system that's going to work for him, and so often that's not the case, and quarterbacks wash out because they're not in a great. Anthony Calvillo was a year away from being out of this league when he was in a system in Hamilton that just didn't work for him, and it made him. I mean, I can remember him dropping back. He couldn't drop back without dropping the ball. Now, why has that happened? I don't know. He went to Montreal, played behind Tracy Ham, and was in a system that was effective, and it brought out the best in him. So, it's one of those things that I think that has a lot to do with it. I think there's a lot of good players that. Sorry about the phone. There's a lot of good players out there that just get caught in they get caught in being in a system that doesn't work for them. I think that our league is unique in that it takes a different skill set than maybe it does in the NFL. In terms of timing, I think timing is very important up here. Accuracy is very important up here. And then, like I say, the biggest thing a quarterback can have is presence and confidence, and that comes a lot of times through the coaching staff. So, I just believe that quarterbacks who get themselves into right situations and then take advantage of that opportunity and develop that confidence and that presence end up being successful. And this is a team. This is a league that doesn't have. 2 games in, if Zach struggles at all, they're going to be the fans, the media. I mean, I had Cleo Lemon here, took a team that had won 3 games the previous year and was 5-2, and they were up in arms wanting him to back up to play. It's a very difficult league for players unless they have a lot of confidence in themselves and understand, exactly what this is all about. So, in Zach, they have a young guy who has a lot of that confidence and that presence about him, and it's a system that's put before him works for him, and he's able to withstand the. I know there were times this year when Scott wanted to potentially make a change, and he didn't. He had the confidence to stay with him and let him go through those moments when a lot of fans, a lot of media say you need to take him out, and he stuck with him. And I think that helped Zach through, and that's going to happen again this year. I mean, this will be his first year with a team behind him, and he'll have Dan Lefevre there. That's a very good player that I know they're very high on also. That and how that's managed will be real interesting to watch. So, quarterback in this league it's the most important position to play. I mean, to have. You have to have a guy who can win for you, and I think that's that's the hardest thing. And going out and finding those guys that can come up and handle some of what our league is about. I mean, like I say, there is no patience in this league. It's win for me now. What have you done for me in the last quarter? There's nothing about, what you've done in the previous year or 2 years or 3 years or even the previous 5 games. It's what have you done for me this quarter, and it's just that's the nature of the CFL.